This week we celebrated our 1-year anniversary of full-timing on the road. Wow, that is crazy. You know the old saying, time flies when you're having fun? Well, the older you get, it flies even faster. And don't say a word. No one needs to hear it, and especially me. We had this dream years ago, but we started really researching it seriously just in the last 3 years.
And that's when we kind of came across one of our first hurdles, trying to come up with a budget. How do you budget for something that you honestly don't know anything about or too much about at all? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, RVing full-time and how to come up with a budget. Hi, my name's Dan.
Hi, I'm Dina, and we are Rivers to Ridges RV.
When we first started researching RVing, like I just said, a budget is a very, very big part of it, part of the research. And honestly, if you can't come up with a budget and make it work, then you can't even go RVing full time. So this has to work, and you have to be honest with yourself.
And we had to have that first initial talk. That was the very first thing we did to even know if it could come true.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually a very, very important subject, and you have to be honest with yourself. It's real easy to write down some numbers hoping that it works, but you have to be honest with yourself. We've been on the road now for a year. We have a lot of data now and receipts.
Receipts after receipts after receipt.
So what we hope to do is we broke these categories down, or our receipts down to different categories, and we want to go over those with you. So hopefully if you're looking into creating a budget, you're thinking about RVing full-time, hopefully we can give you maybe a starting point at least, or some things to think about. Now right up front, I just want to tell you a couple things. The data that I'm going to give you, this starts back July 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2022. And we have all of our notes right here. I couldn't memorize these, so I do have to read these from a note.
Sorry.
And we're only going to cover RV related expenses. I don't need to go into, and you really, I'm sure you don't care how much money I donate to charities each month or some other things
or anything.
Exactly. So we're not going to cover that. We just don't want to waste your time. Everybody's going to have their own budget.
Right.
Everybody's going to have a personalized expenses. And we just don't need to get into those. So these are strictly RVing expenses, and hopefully we covered pretty much everything to do with RVing. So right off the bat, we're going to start with bookings. How much money did we spend this last year on campground fees? Now, we don't boondock. I work full-time during the week, so we do stay in campgrounds all the time. We pay for them. So right off the bat, this actually kind of surprised me when I came up with these. Total booking fees for the year, $11,155. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but it could actually have been a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
This last year we mooch docked, or basically, if you're not sure what mooch docking is, we stayed at our son and daughter-in-law's house a couple different times, but for a total of 103 nights of the year. So out of that $11,155, 103 nights out of the year we didn't even pay for. So that was out of 261 nights out of the year. Now, what does that really mean? What you're really worried about is the average, the monthly average. That comes out to $43 a month. I'm sorry, $43 a night average for campground fees. Now, if we were to take the whole year, including mooch docking, including harvest hose and some free nights if you happen to stay at a Walmart a night or something like that, that would have come out to $31 a night. So overall, I don't think this was bad. When we first did our budget, we were expecting $50 a night.
Yeah.
We came in under that.
Yeah.
And again, most of that I believe is because of the mooch docking for over 100 nights.
Out.
What we have noticed, I think this year, $50 a night probably is going to be hard to do, I think, if you're staying at campgrounds. I know you can mooch dock, you can boondock and things like that, but strictly
we can't boondock, so it's not an option for us. Strictly
talking about campground fees, if I was to do this over again, we started with $50 a night. I would probably bump that up to $60 a night to be more realistic, just the way the prices are nowadays. And of course,
This is
everybody's
true.
different. If you plan on mooch docking or boondocking a lot, then you can adjust it down from there. But
You just brought up something that went ding, ding, ding.
is that what that smoke is?
Gas has gone up since we started
That's
a year
next.
ago.
That's the next on our
okay.
thing. You're getting ahead of me.
It's gone up
Yes.
a lot.
So booking, again, we had a lot of 103 nights. That's fine. 103 nights of mooch docking, and we averaged nights we paid $43 a night. So let's get into fuel. Back in the good old days, when we first started out, diesel was
Wow.
about $3 a gallon. We've been paying now just shy of $6 a gallon, and when we were in California, we're actually paying more than that. But for the
Yeah.
average for the whole year,
Almost double. Wow. Or about double.
yeah,
Yeah.
we spent $4,281 in diesel fuel, and that comes out to $357 a month in diesel fuel. Now, this is actually a little bit less than what we originally expected. When I first did a budget, I was kind of expecting $400 a month. We came in at $356. Now, that figure's based on, and this is something you need to be aware of. We try to stay at a location for 2 weeks at a time. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's only a week. When we first started, we were in one location for a month. But on average, we try to stay 2 weeks in each location. So what that means is
Yeah.
we really only have 2 big travel days a month.
Right.
And that's where a lot of this fuel comes into. Now, the weekends that we're in a location and we're not traveling, we're out doing something.
Yeah.
We're usually in a national park, or we're exploring, we're doing something, so we do
Yeah.
burn fuel then. But during the week
During
I
the
work,
week, yeah.
it's usually sitting. The
Yeah.
truck usually sits. We may do a little short, take rodeo to a dog park or something like that.
Or
But
run to Costco.
yeah,
or-
groceries and things
Yeah.
like that. But on average during the week, the truck sits
Yeah.
unless we're doing some errands running around. So fuel for the year, again, was $4,281 for the year, and that's $357 a month, and based on what we just told you. Insurance, now insurance is going to be different again for everybody. Our auto insurance, we have a Ford F-350. Both of us are on it. We spent $1,315 for the year, and that comes out to $109 a month. We're both safe drivers. We're both no accidents or anything. So I don't know.
I know. I'm a safe driver.
Yeah. We won't talk about that time in Tennessee.
That was you,
I know
dear.
it was me. That's why I said we're not going to talk about it.
I thought you were trying to say it was my fault.
So that's auto insurance. That's our tow vehicle. That's the only vehicle we have now. RV insurance. This is something that I'm sure you're going to want to look into. We have Progressive, and we're spending $1,502 a year, and that comes out to $125 a month. Now again, that's a starting point for you. Maybe if you're not sure where to even start, there's all different kinds of options. We have some options that you may not need or you may not want. So it's a starting point, something to look into. But it's a very honest place to start if you're just looking for a starting. Food. This really, really surprised me. This, I was
Apparently, we like to eat.
Yeah, apparently we like to eat a lot. Every time I look at this, I'm still shocked. So food, and I'll break this down for you. God, I'm kind of embarrassed to even say this. So food, groceries, restaurants, everything combined for the year. This hurts. $13,093. That is a lot of money for
And
food.
just in the last few months or so, the food prices has gone up.
Yeah,
So
it really has.
But that's still a lot of food.
It is.
And that's not including rodeos.
Yeah.
Maybe we give her too many snacks, too many people food.
Yeah, maybe
table
we'll blame it
food.
on rodeo.
Yeah, let's blame it on rodeo.
So what that comes out to, on average, is $1,091 a month. And that really, really surprised me until I broke this down a little more, and then it makes a little bit more sense.
It made you feel better, in other words.
Yeah, made me hungry, actually. So out of the food total, just, $1,091 a month, restaurants, we spent just call it $3,100 a month, and that averages to $258 a month for restaurants. So that's not really...
Wait a minute. You said 3,000...
a year. Oh, did I say a month? A year.
Yeah, you said a month. I'm like, wait a minute. We do not go out to eat that much.
That's a lot of McDonald's. So yeah, restaurant was $3,099 for the year.
Yeah.
And again, this is out of that original $13,000 we just talked about. So the restaurants comes out to $258 a month.
Right.
And that's not that bad.
No, it's not. But we really don't eat out.
We
a whole
don't.
lot. We really don't.
Again, this is based on the whole year, so everything's gone up this last 6-8 months. So if I was to budget again, I'd probably up that or consider that as well. Now, groceries. This surprised me, and again, this is going up. So out of that original $13,000, groceries, we spent $9,422 for the year. That comes out to $785 a month. That's a lot of money, but it's probably... I was way off when we first budgeted this. I think I put down $500, so I was off quite a bit.
Yes. If you look at the grocery average per month and the restaurant, we do spend over $1,000 a month in food alone.
Well, we
That's
just went.
a lot.
We just went to Costco a couple of days ago. Spent almost $300, and it was.
It was just over $300.
Yeah, and I don't even know what we got. So the last one in this category, in our food category, is fast food, and we honestly don't. We're not big fast food eaters. We spent $214 all of last year for fast food. So that averages to just under $18 a month. And I think half of that we did a video on Five Guys and In-N-Out Burger.
Burgers.
Five Guys is expensive. So
$40 of that $200 a month was
a good
Five Guys.
So that's what we have in food. Internet and cell phones.
I want a chocolate shake.
Yeah, I know. Internet and cell service. This is a very important one. And again, everybody's going to be different depending on your needs. Now, before we even get into this, we have 2 separate cell phones. They're on 2 separate plans, and I'll tell you the reason for that in a second. Again, I work full-time, so we actually have 3 separate data plans. I have 3 separate hotspots with 3 separate carriers. So you may not, if you're retired or you're not working full-time, you may not have to have, the 3 separate data plans. One might be fine for you, or maybe even one cell phone. But just so you know what we have. So everything total, this is including all of our data plans and both of our cell phone plans, $4,174 for the year. And that comes out to $348 for the month. That's a lot of money for 2 cell phones and some data plans. I'll get into what we pay for each plan, but I wanted to tell you the reason why we have separate cell phone plans. And this is something you may want to think about.
I don't think many people do think about this, because you've told a few people.
Yeah, and they were surprised.
Oh yeah, and they're like, wow,
so
I have to look into that.
Yeah, before we were traveling, we were both on the same cell phone plan. I think we had consumer cellular, and we were paying, if I remember correctly, about $90 a month. And that was for both of our cell phones, unlimited data. We were happy. Now that we're traveling, though, we want to have separate plans, and the reason for that is we want to have separate carriers. So currently I'm on Verizon, and Dina is on consumer cellular with, I believe, an AT&T card in there. So I'm on Verizon, Dina's on AT&T. The whole reason for that is, as you know, when you travel, Verizon doesn't have coverage everywhere, or AT&T may not have coverage everywhere. So by doing this, hopefully at least one of us has coverage all the time.
Yeah.
So that's the whole reason for doing that. Now we pay more for that because we're on separate plans. We can't bundle anything. Again, that might be something that you want to consider or think about, or maybe you're not even worried about that at all.
Yeah.
But I just want to let you know the reasons behind that. So our consumer cellular plan, this is Dina's plan. It's $812 a year, or $68 a month. T-Mobile, this is strictly a data plan. It's $600 for the year, or $50 a month. We have Cricket, which is basically AT&T. $660 a year, or $55 a month. And Verizon's our big one. I spend $2,102 a year, or $175 a month. The reason why that one's so much more expensive than the others, that's my cell phone plus a data plan on there, so that's why it's that much more expensive. So again, internet and cell phone, everything combined, $4,174 for the year, or you can just round it up to $350 a month for your budget. And speaking of that, if you find these kind of videos helpful or informational, please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps us get our videos out to other RVers, other people in general. So hopefully we can help some other people out as well.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
The next thing we have is storage, and this is something I hope you've thought about. We sold our home and almost everything in it.
But there's still some things you can't part with.
Yes, there's still things you just can't get rid of. Family photos, personal things, you just can't get rid of. So we have a storage space. I believe it's 10 by 10. It's jam-packed. But it has
packed to the brim.
Really just necessities in there and things we just couldn't get rid of.
Yeah.
We pay $125 a month for that.
When we initially got it, it was like
about 60 or 70 a month.
And then after 3 months, guess what?
Yeah, so we actually did a video on that as well, talking about storage and some things, getting ready to RV full time. But what we did, I'll just talk briefly about this. When we first started looking into storage units, normally you would look right around your current house, your sticks and bricks, and try to find something close. It makes it easy to move things in and out. We actually kind of expanded our search area because we wanted to find a nice clean storage location, and we also wanted trying to get the best deal, honestly. So our storage facility was about 45 minutes north of our old sticks and bricks. And one of the reasons why we chose that one is close to our daughter and son-in-law. If by chance, for whatever reason, something happened, there was an emergency, they have a key to it, they can get in and get something. And
South Florida's prices were a lot more than that.
And the other thing was it had a really good sale going on at the time. So we started out, again, roughly $60 or $70 a month. Just be aware it's going to go up. It's going to go back up to what it should be.
Usually it's 3 months. After 3 months, I think it goes up.
Yeah,
it went up a little bit more.
They slowly went up. So now after a year, we're paying full prices.
Yeah.
So just something to be aware of, storage. Another thing to be aware of if you're going to full-time or RV full-time is mail forwarding services. And I think we did a video on this as well. But a mail forwarding service, it allows you to have all your mail go to one location. It gives you a permanent address. And now what we do is when we get enough mail, we have them ship it to wherever we're at. So that's a mail forwarding service, or a virtual mailbox. You may have heard it called that. We personally use MyRVmail. They're based out of North Florida. We've always had Florida addresses, so it just made sense for us. But we pay $224 for the year. That comes out to just under $19 a month. It's actually not bad. I don't think we've never had a problem with them.
It's great service.
You really kind of have to do it. There are other options. You want, have your mail left at friends' houses or things like that. It's possible, but if you're doing this full time, you really need a mail forwarding service. So that's something else to think about. Subscriptions. Now, when I talk about subscriptions, I'm talking about like if you have a KOA card, or if you use TripWizard, I think that's called RV Life now, Passport America, Harvest
Right.
Host, those kind of subscriptions is what I'm talking about. So, out of all the ones we have, we don't have that many, and we may actually get rid of a couple, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Subscriptions, we pay $305 a year, or right at $25 a month. Now, out of those, we have Passport America, which is only $44 a year, or that's about $3.67 a month. We have Good Sam, which is $30 a year, or $2.50 a month. KOA, $33 a year, or $2.75 a month. RV Life, again, this is TripWizard to help you plan your trips. That's what we use it for. $59 a year, or $4.92 a month. And the last one we have is Harvest Host. We actually have Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome rolled into one subscription. That's $139 a year, or $11.59 a month.
And worth every penny.
Yes. So that
The Harvest Host.
that sounds like a lot. So Harvest Host, right? This one subscription.
Yeah.
$139 a year. If you go back and look at what we talked about for camping fees, again, it's roughly, you can figure $60 a night. So if you spent 3 nights at a Harvest Host in a year, you more than covered the subscription fee. So it's well worth it. And we love Harvest Hosts. We've had some awesome times.
So much fun.
Just some memories we'll never we'll never forget.
For sure.
So those are our expenses, RV related expenses. Again, we didn't go into some personal things and some doctor visits and things like that. But we also have a few lessons learned that we want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully some of these could affect a budget or your spending habits. The first thing, it's not really a bad thing, but again,
It's true, yeah.
It's very, very true. Again, working full time in a campground, it's very, very easy. I call this getting into a party mode.
Yeah.
When you're doing this full time, this is your life. You're not on vacation.
And a lot of people around you are on vacation.
Yes. So after work, we may sit on the back patio. We call that our helicopter pad. We may sit out back there, watch a sunset or something. But people are out, they're partying, they're drinking, they're having fun, doing campfires, cooking out. We can't do that every single night. It's just not realistic. But it's something to be aware of if you're thinking about doing this full time. Maybe you're not working, so you can enjoy every single night. But
oh, so I can, but you can't.
Basically, yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
But so that is something else to think about. If you do have a current budget and maybe you allocate X amount of money for entertainment or things like that, you may want to bump that up a little bit if you're going to be honest with yourself, because it's very easy once you get into these situations where
around you and they socialize and they want you to come over, and
it's very
so easy to get caught up in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So just again, something to be aware of. Another thing, I had this listed down as habits or changing habits. So again, you may have a current budget. You may, I think when we had our old Sticks and Bricks, we really went out for dinner maybe every other Friday.
No, we went pretty much every weekend.
Every weekend we'd go out for dinner.
Either a Friday or Saturday night we would go out for dinner.
But now that we're on the road, we go out even more often. And if you think about it, it's very easy to do. Whenever we go somewhere, you're in a new town all the time. So just driving through town, you see all these really
cool places.
Yeah, and we don't like going to chain restaurants. We like going to the local stuff.
Yeah.
So when you see a little small local pizza place or a microbrewery or something like that,
steakhouse,
family, you kind of have to try it out.
Yeah.
So again, if you're thinking about this, if you have a budget for maybe for restaurants or going out to eat.
I like to we weren't really hungry enough for dinner, but we just went to our favorite place and had like an appetizer and a drink.
Yep.
You know, if you're out, maybe that will do for lunch sometime, or an appetizer before dinner or something like that, you know.
Yep.
And then come back to the RV and cook out or something.
Yep.
But it is easy to get.
Yeah, it's very easy to go out and enjoy yourself a lot more than normal.
Yeah.
So again, if you're trying to put a budget together,
if you are on a budget at all,
just something to be aware of, and you may want to put a little bit of additional money in that bucket. This next one doesn't have anything at all to do with the budget, but it's a lesson we learned probably kind of the hard way, I think. So we definitely wanted to share this with you.
Definitely.
When we first started planning our trips, basically from Florida to California, kind of the way we did it was we would plan. There's some points along the way definitely that we wanted to see.
Right.
But what we did was we would plan to drive 300 miles, and then we would do some research and try to find the best campground in that vicinity right there, roughly 300 miles out. Instead of doing that, what we should have done, we should have researched the areas all around that. And what I mean is, it might have been better for us to stop at 250 miles instead of 300, because maybe at 250 miles there's a big music festival going on. Maybe there's an RV rally. Maybe there's...
Or how about the beautiful wooden swing bridge that we missed?
Yeah, we drove right past.
That we couldn't stop because we had the RV.
Yeah.
It was travel day.
So just because you're going from point A to point B, there's a lot of things to see in between. So do a little bit of research. Don't just pick, I'm going to drive 300 miles today and find the closest campground. Look around the vicinity. Maybe it's even worth going a little bit out of your way.
Yeah.
Because something big is happening, or something that you didn't even know was there, something that might interest you.
Google it and know what's going on in the area that you're going to be there, or whether or not you want to maybe stay an extra week somewhere where you're going to be before. Maybe stay an extra week there so you can.
Because an event coming up,
or vice versa. Less than a week,
so you can get somewhere else in time.
It's definitely worth research, definitely, because there's been a couple times where we really wanted to kick ourselves in the butt.
we missed a couple pretty big things. So again, when you're planning your route, if you're planning to go full time, or the first time you do this, don't make the mistake we did.
Right.
Spend a little bit of time researching some of those. Again, like if you're going to go from, let's say, Yellowstone to, let's just say, Yosemite, for instance. Those are your two big destinations you want to see. There's a lot of spots in between. Don't just pick 300 miles, 300 miles, 300 miles. Look around. There's some really cool towns out there. There's a lot going on. So spend a little bit of time doing that kind of research.
Definitely.
The next thing I want to talk about, it does have to do with budgeting, and actually it helped us out a little bit as well. Shopping or purchasing things. We in the past, when we lived in our sticks and bricks and we were both working, we pretty much, if we wanted, I'm not talking major ticket items, but smaller things, we would just go out and buy it, and honestly not think too much about it. And lots of times what would happen is you would buy something, and a week later it sits on a shelf, or it goes in the garage, and you never use it again. You can't do that in an RV. If something's coming in, something's pretty much has to go out, and that's very, very true. You have limited space. So because of the limited space, and now that Dina retired, I'm working, so we are on a single income now. That's another reason we're a little more careful with what we purchase. And to be honest with you, we don't want to purchase something, stick it in the RV to find out we don't really need it and we don't really want it, and now it goes down in the basement and we're just driving all over the United States with some junk in our basement. So
junk in the trunk.
Junk in the hey, that's they should write a song about that.
Oh boy.
So because of those reasons, our shopping has cut back quite a bit, which is honestly a good thing for the budget. Now this next one, and this is actually our last one, does have to do with your budget, and this is something we completely overlooked. Luckily, it's not a huge ticket item, but it does add up. Doctor visits. Now we did take into account doctor visits, but what we didn't take into account was when you see new doctors, because you're traveling from town to town, you may have to go to a doctor in one town.
Yeah, you're not an established patient.
Yep, you may go to another town, you may have to see another doctor for, as I say, a follow-up maybe.
Yeah.
For any reason, you're not an established patient, so what do? You have to pay that
First visit fee or charge. First visit charge.
And it's actually it's quite a bit of money. So that's something that we didn't think about. So what we try to do is whenever we can, we still have our primary doctors, and this doesn't work all the time, but whenever we can, we try to do the phone call, virtual phone calls and stuff.
Appointment.
A virtual appointment, with our primary. Because we're established, usually they can, give you prescriptions over the phone and tell them or call it in for you. Yeah. So that's just something to be aware of. Doctor visits and being a new patient.
Definitely.
So hopefully some of these figures give you a good place to start if you're trying to put a budget together to go full-timing or full-time RVing full-time. Again, these are our numbers. Everybody's going to be different.
Right.
Your lifestyle is going to be different. We have a tow vehicle on fifth wheels. You may have a Class A. You may have a little pop-up. Everybody's going to be different. But these are honest numbers. We went through everything, and these are our honest numbers. So hopefully they do help you out a little bit and give you a good place to start. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below. We'll be more than happy to answer. You have our numbers. We can't get much more honest than that.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we were able to help you out a little bit.
We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we really do hope that you find it helpful. We're more than willing to help out with in any way we can. We're still learning ourselves. We're no experts, but that's what this community is all about, is learning and sharing, right? So we really appreciate your time. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Have a great week, and God bless.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.